All right, it is official. It is official. They are currently saying that we are live on YouTube.
Oh, snap. We on YouTube too.
Yep. So we gonna go on. Originally we start on YouTube and then I go ahead and
Okay.
put us on Facebook.
Dope.
So let me go ahead and get us added to Facebook. All right. Let's see. We gonna see.
What's up? Vavi Solomon. Mm-hmm.
Look, get log them on, okay?
Yeah. I'm about to share the links. We about to go live. Okay. All right. Never work anywhere. Anyhow.
Listen, do your thing because we are live and ready to go. So
Oh.
yeah, girl,
Oh
listen.
man. I'm learning to accept in all ways. We are to expand, especially in
Yeah,
purpose, because we can easily talk ourselves out of it and think that there's this perfect way to go about things when that is not so. It
it is
just
not.
doesn't exist. There's no perfect way to do anything, especially when you have your own individual journey and your own purpose. There's no way to compare
Oh,
anything to anybody.
look at
It's
you
just, I've learned
spitting
so
knowledge
much
early.
over my, I'm telling you. Look, today has been, I'm not gonna lie, I woke up in this energy of gratitude and I spoke to my great aunt this morning who's full of wisdom. She poured into me this morning. I journaled. Like today's been a good day already. So I'm just thankful.
I always say divine connections, like things happen for a reason, like we were saying. Um,
Mm,
but we gonna go ahead and get started. I want to thank everybody. I'm in the midst of preparing. Y'all know how I normally do. Thank you so much for joining us on Paint Release for this Saturday. I have the lovely and dope Vavi Solomon with us today. She's gonna be just being transparent, just diving in with us on the art of wellness. I think it's so important in this season for us to really touch bases on that and really just get everybody into a space mental, physical, all of that.
uh-oh, I lost.
Uh-oh, did we kick out and come back? We back, y'all. I don't know what's
It's
going on.
back in.
Okay, we are back. We back. No worries. So, like I was saying,
We're
just making
good.
sure that we are all staying in a good mental space as far as wellness goes. But I definitely listen. I've told you before, just in your comments, that you are a force to be reckoned with. You are so talented, like, and you're multi-talented. Like, you have so many different avenues that you and platforms that you are able to be creative in. Tell us some of the different areas and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a visual artist since a kid. I was always the kid drawing on stuff from my furniture, my clothes, my skin, all that stuff. But in high school,
Okay.
I decided to take it into a career. So I went to college for graphic design, and I learned how to be a graphic designer and take my art into illustration, Photoshop, and it took me into album covers.
Mm,
So I was in that lane for quite a while, but everything's connected for me. I'm a very passionate person. So when I got into spaces that I needed to release and to find peace from spaces like depression and stuff, I took my poetry into music and videography. I did that for a while. What else have I done? I do murals, painting on major scales. I do a lot of canvas work. You can find myself in some galleries in Chicago. I am in Lacuna Lost right now as a mural that I'm working on. I currently, ever since quarantine, thankfully, I've been challenged to be diligent in tattooing. So that's my main creativity right now, my main passion. Um, am I missing anything? Oh, and I custom clothes. Like that's a thing. That's more
yeah,
so a hobby. I like to say I don't really do it too much, but it's times where the fashion, especially fall fashion. I get on, hop on jackets and shoes and hats and things like that. But anything creative I can do, I put my hands on it because it gives me peace. So
that is awesome. That is so awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Hello, thank you, Peace Queens. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being in the space in the studio with us today. I appreciate everyone that has joined. Um, it's it's amazing just to be able to come into a space and being able to be transparent and being able to really just let everybody know who you are, not only as a creative but just as a human being. Like, I think so many times
Yeah.
when you are an artist or a creative, many people kind of take you away from the fact that I'm still human, I've still gone through
No, that's
traumas
big
and
facts.
yeah, and different things. Like, I still deal with different things internally that I have to find ways to be able to release in different areas. So just for the space of art itself, how has that been for you as far as a release? Because this is pain and release, so we're just talking about being able to release and find different areas. How has that been for you to be able to
Yeah.
release, and how has that helped you, and maybe in some of your healings as far as traumas and things that you've gone through in the past?
Well, growing up, I was very soft spoken, very timid, very, I won't say uncertain, but when I got into circles with big energy, I would have anxiety and have
Mm,
issues with shrinking. I would always shrink. So, as I got older, I started to formulate like, what could I do? What is my self formula? And one of the mantras I like to stick to that I say daily is to thine own self be true. So,
mm,
whatever makes you feel your most inner comfort, your most inner calm, stick to that and don't let, outer energies come around you and shift it. And if you do feel like you're being challenged, take that as a positive aim to have confirmation to be more of who you're supposed to be, because a lot of time anything worth having doesn't come easy. It's easy to conform to things around you, but what are you going to get from that? Especially when it comes to creativity, because your ideas are your own. They're very unique, and you have to own that. At the end of the day, you have to own what it is, because there's that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. Or some people have an idea and they're like, oh, I thought of that, I should have did that. But if
mhm.
you're sitting on it, what's going to happen? It's going to pass on to the next energy that can actually execute on those things. So your insecurities could be your own worst sabotage. So knowing these things, and also knowing that the next person could be going through the exact same thing, but sometimes we find ourselves in spaces being
You breaking up
you
just a
can't
little
relate.
bit. You're breaking up just a little bit.
see.
That's okay. Then we're gonna push through.
Let me turn this off. Is that better? Are we
Yeah.
good?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Okay. Yeah, be clear now. Go ahead.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Can you hear
I
me?
guess yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, One thing that I think, okay, cool. I'm lagging, but okay, whatever. Moving
We're gonna push
purpose at all times.
yeah.
Um, I would like to say that, if anything, accept the challenges, accept that, when you feel away, is a reason for it. The positive perspective of it, your perception of that situation can shift and it can change as well. So instead of feeling defeated, you work through it. And when you come through it, you end up having a story to tell. And that's what I'm learning right now where I'm at in life, because there's a lot of things that could have helped me back, a lot of things that could made me give up. But now I'm able to sit more in my royal posture, I like to say, because we're all meant to be kings and queens of our own existence and our situations. We're not meant to shrink. We're not meant to feel small and defeated. So we have to own that for ourselves. We can't wait for other people to tell us who we are. We have to tell ourselves, I am, that's where affirmations come in, I am this, I am that, I am greater than my situation, and just be.
That is amazing. That is simply amazing. The
Okay,
timing.
my connection. Yeah.
It's all about the timing, and I'm in this same space right now. Like just being able to take those, basically, like I tell people all the time, is being able to take the negatives and turn them into a positive. That
Definitely.
energy, and being able to use it into a different space. And I think that a lot of people, they struggle with that. It's a lot easier said than done, especially when you've gotten in your own
Definitely.
way in certain aspects, as far as mentally, and kind of just trying to understand everything that may be going on around you and being able to process it. So definitely the perception and making sure that you stick into that. But and then also not dimming your light. Like you said, you go into a room and you shrink. Like I downplay myself so much in some of the things that I do, and some of the different platforms that I that I dabble in. I definitely downplay myself so much, but being able to just really own that, and like you said, sit in that posture of knowing that and recognizing your dopeness, I think that's amazing. When you finally come into that and you're like, okay, you know what, I'm pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Um, so Bobby, what are some,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I know that we recently talked about wellness and the art of wellness and making sure that we're staying aligned. Like my whole thing is trying to make sure that I am mentally, physically, and spiritually aligned, um, in so many in all areas, and making sure that I'm finding that balance. What are some tips that you can give a person that is in this season or in this space, especially with the times with all of the social injustice and just the uncertainty of um the uncertainty of what's going on as of right now, especially in America with the pandemic that's going on? What are some tips that you give someone to make sure that they are staying balanced and in a good space of wellness?
Definitely believe that we set the tone for, we get to decide how we're gonna be when we walk outside of our doors. So morning rituals are very important to me. Morning routines. When I don't have one in place, it's a big difference than when I do. So for me, I believe that morning affirmations, either you're listening or you're speaking positivity over yourself, is very important. I do recommend, like a lot of people's mornings are different, but movement in the mornings is essential for me. Like morning yoga changed my life.
Okay.
Stretching, because if you're going through something and you wake up thinking about what you went through, you're carrying that stress onward with you. And that's like
Mhm.
being a magnet to more stress. and your perception is a bit altered. You're more sensitive and easily triggered, and who wants to walk around like that, you know?
Right.
So letting off your tensions in any way you can is very important. Starting yourself off with stillness and quietness, meditating, allowing um, allowing spirit, that I like to say, or God, to speak to you before a man can, a human can, and with their own understanding and perception of what's going on. That talking and nagging and all that extra stuff, if you create an armor around yourself of peace, that can't penetrate you the same if you just, getting up and being in, all types of frazzledness, and then you just walk out the door. Like, you're vulnerable to so much stuff. And the most perfect person is going to pick up on energy, period. So cleansing yourself is very important, I believe, at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, both physically but also spiritually and emotionally. So I do recommend journaling. A lot of people kind of, I think, overlook how powerful that can be, because your
Yes.
subconscious speaks when you journal. A lot of things that you may not speak out loud can come out when you journal. You can kind of let off what you don't even know what's wrong with you sometimes. And when you
Yeah.
journal, you kind of get some clarity, like, oh, that's what I'm feeling. Oh, that just came out of me. It can be poetry. It could be just diary form. It can be anything.
Yeah.
I have a method to myself that I'm actually going to start sharing more on my own YouTube channel and my Instagram. I'm very in tune with angel numbers. A lot of people are first introduced to them by 1111, like, oh, that's a special number, make a wish. Like, that's very commercial, but that's an introduction to a real thing. There's a lot of synchronicities in numbers. The basis of nature is, geometry, and all. It gets really deep. There's a science and spirituality that I've come to really fall in love with, because there's confirmations to things when, as human beings, we doubt so much. We
Right.
have a lot of self-doubt. We have a lot of doubt based off of things around us. We're very sensitive, and we shift when sometimes we need to be still. So angel numbers help me to get confirmation on thoughts that I'm having, or divine streams, that I like to call it, when I meditate, to be still and just absorb whatever I may need to absorb for myself, or even pass on. Like, this morning, I was able to journal and take on some angel numbers and really catch the vibe of what the energy is today. And it was like it gives me peace, and it gives me a joy that I need, especially in this time, to understand that there's a lot of things going on outside of this earthly realm, or what we can see with our eyes. Like, there's something going beyond.
Yeah.
It's in the third. We're vulnerable. We're scared. Just a lot of stuff is going on the TV that's being shaped to scare us. Where they want us to be off our rocker, so that we, are in confusion. But they
Right.
say God is not the author of confusion, and that's facts. But fine. So when I catch angel numbers, I'm more so obedient to what that means, and not
Me.
letting
Yeah.
us. There will be people that come and try to shift you, but off what you believe. With anything that you
Exactly.
believe. Why are you doing that? You really believe that? Whatever that is. But you just have to trust what you know, what your spirit is saying, what your intuition is giving you comfort in, and lean into that. And it's okay. You know.
Yes. That
So.
is so awesome, because I literally this week alone I've actually taken just a step back from my regular 9 to 5 and kind of taken some time for myself, and I've implemented newly my morning devotional, where the first thing that I'm doing is praying and in my word, and I'm journaling, and it's really has set the tone for the day. Like, people don't even
Mm-hmm.
understand just taking that time with God and with yourself, and really kind of honing into and being able to manifest what you want that day to look like for yourself, and praying on that and saying, look,
Facts.
this is where we're going for the day, this is what I'm doing for the day. That has changed, like, just the trajectory of my day. And I've also got into a place, like you said, of being still. Like, just be still for
Mm-hmm.
2 seconds, because I'm the type that
Mm-hmm.
I'm so wired all the time, like I'm ripping and running, like I gotta be doing something, keeping my hands moving. And sometimes it's just like, no, be still. And I know that I've heard God just tell me that throughout this new journey for me is be still and know that I am God. And it's like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to
Mhm.
understand everything. I don't have to know
Mhm.
everything, but just to know that
Mhm.
you are there and you're going to guide me where you see me fit and where I need to be and what places I
Exactly.
need to be. And it's just like, just this interview alone, like, you don't even understand this interview alone and its timing. You know what I'm saying? And where I am
Mhm.
right now
Mhm.
mentally, and where I am and what space I'm in right now. And then for you to be in this space with me in this, what I call the studio, it's amazing. Like, God
It's alignment.
plans it all out. It's
Yeah.
all aligned. And you don't understand everything and you be like, okay, well, all right, we're gonna go with the flow. But it all comes,
Yeah.
it comes into play. It definitely comes into play.
Yeah.
So,
I
Bobby,
think
you were
that's
telling,
one thing. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, definitely go ahead.
I was just gonna piggyback just to say that, during this pandemic, it's birthed a lot of entrepreneurs, and
Mm-hmm.
that's going to come with a lot of busyness, a lot of uncomfortable spaces that we're actually supposed to step into with a lot of confidence, so that we can own the
Mm-hmm.
business that we're choosing or that we've been called to be in. So we have to trust in what we just spoke about, because it's busy and it's a
Yeah.
lot going on, and we could easily be like, oh, this is too much, and shrink, go back to what we were doing before, but it's not going to fit. We don't
Yeah.
fit in those spaces.
Mine is just like, I'm not letting the world change my narrative, like whatever that looks like, whether that's a
Mhm.
human being, whether that's the press, whatever that is, like, I'm not allowing that to change my narrative. And I'm going to really just continue to walk in purpose. Like, we've been talking about purpose so much. So I kind of want to dive into that. When did you when did you really adapt and know and really understand your purpose? How did that play out for you?
Ooh, ooh wee. Let me think, because I've had so many encounters with myself that I was
Right.
uncomfortable, because, man, especially being multifaceted, there's been a lot of times where I've taken advice or attempted to take advice of people telling me, just choose one thing, stick to one thing. But I had to go inside of myself and realize that I'm not performing. Like, I'm not coming out and saying, oh, I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a this or that to entertain anyone. I'm coming out as that because I said this fulfills me. This is who I'm called to be. This is something that I feel my most whole inner self doing. So I had to learn what the difference was between purpose and being a brand on Instagram, or being like, something that looks
Right.
good rather than what really feels like it's me. I think my biggest push was when I became a mom, because
Mm,
I was mostly just an artist visually. I would draw and post things, and I would feel like confident because I get a good reaction from it. But then my whole idea was half done, and I wasn't confident enough to really put it in. Like, I'd have a sketch when really in my head it was the cover art for a song that I wanted to put out that's probably sitting in my computer and never put out, type of thing. So
exactly.
my daughter was born. My daughter, Noah, who's now 7, she was such a big energy from the beginning that I couldn't be the same person and be a good mom to her, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, I had to come out of my shell. I had to get loud. I had to use my voice. I had to let my vibrations carry what was adequate for her. And that kind of poured over into my creativity naturally. And I started seeing myself in a new light as a mother, because it's different when you're a
Oh
girl
yes.
with, you're a young girl. That's who you are, and you're easily
Yep.
swayed. But then when you become a mother and you want to be, a mother to your child, you become a mother to yourself in a way. I started mothering myself into being a greater energy, a greater force that people now see me as, because I just knew I needed to be that. So when she was about 1 years old, I did my first live performance at the Afro Fest at the Greenbelt Cultural Center. And
Okay.
it was such a challenge for me, because at first I didn't want to do it. But I think it was my mom or somebody set me up with it. And I finally was like, okay. So I came with my music. I get on stage, and the music starts playing. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm standing here. I'm sorry, is it working? Sorry, somebody tried to call me. Sorry, somebody tried to call me.
Yeah, it came back in. It came back
Oh,
in.
sorry. Um, yeah, somebody my music wasn't working, and I'm standing there looking at the crowd, everybody looking at me, and I'm just like, all right, what do I do? Like, how y'all feeling? How like I'm just talking,
Right.
and I'm just like, you know what? It was something in me that was like, this is not you. You know what you can do. So I kind of was like, you know what, forget it. I said, forget the music. And I just did what I did a cappella. And that rush inside of me that I was afraid of ended up being something that I started to embrace, and I loved the feeling. So I started performing more, and it led to me. It was sorry about that. Somebody
No, it's
keeps trying
okay.
to call.
They don't tell them to go watch YouTube. She doing an interview right now.
I know. I'm like, I told everybody that I'm doing this. Like, what is going on?
It's like just when
Anyway, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But long story short, right when I'm trying to tell my story. um right at that moment though, that led to me being able to tour with a jazz band for the summer. So if I would have not had the courage to get on stage and be my most authentic self, because I could have walked off the stage like, my music's not working,
right,
I don't know, like, forget it. But instead, I kind of stepped into my fear, and I ended up being seen by someone who allowed me to tour with them for the summer and do a jazz set with the like old heads. So I'm learning a whole different level of music that I haven't had the experience of learning. So it kind of seasons my confidence. So, even though that only lasted for a summer, I can take that with me forever and know like I am unique. I can be chosen musically because they saw something in me that I would have
sometimes you don't even see
doubted
in
if I
ourselves.
hadn't been in that situation. So it just pushed me, and it poured over in so many ways to my other levels of creativity, because again, I just had to accept that I am unique.
Yeah.
I sure
And
really didn't.
I can definitely relate to that. I feel like I've run from different talents and things that I, different areas as well. I think I've run from those too. And I can definitely relate to that. It's so easy to be like, yeah, it's so easy to be like, no, I just won't. It's so easy to do that. And I think that in this season I've had to
right
step out, really just step out on faith and be like, you know what, you got this. You got this. You got this.
Yes.
So, Bobby,
faith
show
faith
everybody
is
what you
such
are
a
painting.
big lesson.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm working on is, she's had different names, but I've gone through a series in my head. I'm creating a series, but I've only made 2 so far. One of them I sold, but this one is also been purchased. I just have to finish it. This is a woman representing Earth. So she's got, her tree vines and bark right here. It's pretty much all of her skin is like a weaving of wood and vines and such. And she's got water in the midst of her face, and then her hair is made up of leaves, and it's not detailed just yet. So my creative process with painting, I don't force anything. If I'm not feeling it, I walk away. If I'm feeling it, I'll come back to it. I thought today was a great opportunity to come back to her, because I haven't been painting her for, I don't know, it's been probably over 5-6 months since I've touched her. So I've acquired kind of a new style in the midst of that. I'm actually gonna grab it. I want to show you guys. Hold on one second.
Definitely show us. We want to see all of the things that she is working on. Bobby is so incredibly dope, you all. Like, just being able
my
to.
most recent post.
Oh, and she's beautiful.
So if you can notice, my technique on my background is like a stippling type of, like, just do it, the more the detail starts to form. So I did this painting, and this was my first attempt at doing something like this. So I tried it one more time on a bigger scale, and I'll show you that. This is actually for sale. It's kind of big, but this is what my second attempt ended up being. So it looks pretty abstract, but the more you look at it, you'll see that the middle is two women and they're sideways. I can turn it this way. You probably can see them better. But there are two women and they're kind of wrapped up. Their eyes, their head is wrapped up and then it's kind of wrapped around their bodies. They have pregnant bellies. And then in the background, it's more women. So the detail of the women in the background kind of represents, I like to call it feminine DNA, because from far away to me, it looks like the red blood cells flowing underneath our skin. But yeah, this stippling style is something that helped me get a little bit more of a relief. Sometimes I don't want to sit and do detail all day, especially because I got kids. I don't have time. But it kind of helped me to remember that art is art. Art is really just an expression of what you feel. It's not always super detailed craziness. Sometimes it's a line and a circle on a canvas. People pay money for that stuff, and it's really just a feeling. Art is a feeling. So I believe that's why sipping paints and all those things have blown up pretty big, because people get, you know, they feel when they paint and you enjoy it. It's something that's really therapeutic. So
you know, that's
I'll be
crazy.
posting
You
more
just
of my
answered
work.
my next question. You answered my next question. I definitely was going to ask you, what is art to you? And that's definitely, I think that's where I got into this space as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. I got into a space too. I'm like, this became just a therapy for me. Like, I needed something to be able to release whatever type of energy that I was carrying for the day. And unfortunately, it came into a space where it was when I was sad or, you know, uneasy, and I had to really, I'm learning now, like, I have to continue to kind of, because I have to change the narrative for painting for me, because I had gotten to a space where it was just like, oh, I'm doing it when I'm upset, or I'm doing it when I'm, you know, uneasy. And for me, that kind of took me away from really going into painting, because I'd be like, oh, I'm not feeling upset today, or I'm not uneasy. I don't need to do this today. But really and truly, I need to get into a space where I change the narrative of what painting is for me.
That's
and
powerful.
and it doesn't always have to be a sad release or an angry release. It can be something so beautiful, like, I'm feeling at peace today, or whatever the case may be. So that's where mine came into. Right now, I've been really like just honing in and praying. So I have a lady that's praying, and that's the piece that I'm choosing to paint today, because I'm really like, you know what, I'm gonna have to change this up for myself, and what painting means for me, and what the release is, because I've let it become something deep. Negative.
That's real deep, because we can do that in life. And you know, it's funny that you brought that up, because I just had that revelation about music for myself. I fell into music on accident. You know, I came from a musical family, but I was the one that only painted, only drew. I didn't open my mouth. Like, I really was afraid of my voice. I left it at that. But I started recording one night when I just couldn't, nothing helped. Like, I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint, I couldn't do anything. So I kind of found myself recording on my computer just for a relief. And then the next morning I'm feeling like, oh, I feel better. And then I listen like, oh, I made that. Like, I couldn't believe I did it. But I got so used to my formula being, okay, sadness music, anger music, that I didn't know any other way. So I kind of had to take a break and step away from it. And now coming back to it, I'm making a whole new style of what I call yogi music, because I'm into yoga pretty heavy. And it's such a different approach, different feeling. But that's what life is. We have to be able to allow ourselves to accept. The only thing that's constant is change. And embrace discomfort, embrace the new versions of you, because there's so much on the other side when you're afraid.
So much. And that in itself is something so powerful, when you embrace the change and don't fight it. And I think what really
resistance, least resistance.
It's the part, that's the part that I think that's the piece that people have gotten so confused, is when they're like, I don't like change. No, you don't like the resistance that you're putting up. and how that feels to you when you're
Yes.
resisting the change.
Yes.
Allow it to happen.
Yes.
Allow it to set you free, and you know what I'm saying? You'll come into a whole new light, and there's so many different, I feel like there's so many different versions of us and ourselves.
Yes. We
That
have so
people
many
haven't even
layers that we don't know about.
We are onion. We are onion. I tell people I'm
We
an onion.
are.
We are an onion. There's
No,
so
that's
many different
facts.
layers. So many different layers.
Yes.
So, Bobby, you said
That's
that you're
one
going
thing that I'm
into.
going to talk about on my YouTube.
Please do.
Oh,
And I'm
sorry.
gonna have to come and do yoga with you.
Please, we need more people.
I want to come. I definitely. Are you guys doing anything like next week or anything, or the week coming up? Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna solidify. I usually make flyers of our schedules, and once I do that, I'll send it to you. We're right here in North Chicago doing yoga.
Because I'm trying to, because I was
Yes.
like, I want to learn the art of just like meditation and just the slowing down my brain. I think I struggle with that in so many areas, like just slowing down my brain and being able to really, understand
It's
the feelings that
hard.
I can't. I'm like, Lord, you're gonna have to help me because I need something where I could just slow down my brain. Like you could ask my friends, they'd be like, girl, slow down. I have like so many different ideas and it's just running.
But you know what? Meditation plays a big part. Yes, getting out of your way for betterment. Yes. One of the things about meditation I discovered is that you have a lot of blockages going on, and a lot of it can be in your mind. You think that, things are flowing at a fast pace and you can get it, but things will flow a lot better, and you'll be able to grasp the gems in the midst of all this stuff going on. There's gems in there that you can grasp onto that are very much more nourishing than having to try to catch everything and try to make everything something. So when I got to be more still, and then when I journaled after meditating, I was able to, emphasize what I feel that God was saying to me that I needed to share, not, whatever I needed to absorb and nourish for myself and then pour into others. Because I wrote that this morning, like you can't pour from an empty cup. So when you're meditating, you're able to kind of, sort through your thoughts, sort through your feelings, and kind of take what you need and throw everything else away. It's very important to do that.
Yes. Thank you so much. It says one of our fellow paint and releasers, one of our releasers said, it is very true, getting out of your own way for the betterment of yourself. Laugh out loud. Facts. Definitely. Because listen, I'll talk myself out of something. And I think I can talk myself out of so many blessings and lessons so many times because I just be like, no.
Yes. Yes. Self-sabotage is a real thing.
It is. It's very real. And it's to a point where it's kind of sad too, because it's like, why wouldn't you just embrace the moment? Like, just embrace it. Stop fighting. But I'm a,
But you know what? When you get tired of something enough, you'll change it.
Exactly. It's like a bad relationship.
And
once
then when you
tired,
don't know how, you just facts. You get tired of yourself, you'll change it. That was me. And I started writing down a lot of my thoughts, and then I started to seek the answers. And after a while, I had like stacks and stacks of notebooks, and I started turning them into unpublished books at this point, but I'm going to start publishing more. That I'm going to start my YouTube because I realized that, first of all, I'm not alone. A lot of people are going through a lot of things that I'm going through, and they're wondering where to start. And I've started so many times, and you grow to a certain point where the journey's never done. So you just kind of go back into your cocoon, you come out a new version, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. But you have to learn how to be still so that you can enjoy the moments, like enjoy the journey. It's not really about the destination. It's about what you're going through on the journey. So if you're stuck in thinking that you want to be in this comfort zone because things don't feel good when you're shifting, you're missing out on a whole experience. At the end of the day, it's just a whole experience.
It is. That's very powerful. That's very powerful. I think I've run from so many different, like, just I came to a place, like when you said you get tired of yourself, and I had came to a place where I had really like, you know what, not even just being tired of myself, but really realizing that I didn't know who I was as an individual. I didn't
Yes,
really know what it
yes.
was that I wanted as an individual. Like, I became a mother at a very young age. I had my son when I was 17. So it was like I was a mother, a daughter. I was forced to grow up a lot faster and kind of remove myself. And I was talking to that's crazy because I was talking to my son about this the other day. I'm like, you know, I thank God that you're here, but we've grown up together. And I think that's why
Yeah,
our
yeah.
relationship is the form that it is, because we've grown up together. And I said, I had
Right.
to tell him, like, but I had to get to a place where I wanted to know who I was as an individual, not just as your mom, not
Yeah.
just as a daughter, but really
That's a
knowing
big
who I was.
thing. That's big.
Yes. And it's crazy because I went into a woman's group, and they handed out 100 questions that you had to answer about yourself, and it couldn't be something that who you were to someone else. It had to be strictly about you. I could
Mm,
not answer all 100 questions, and that's when I was like, you know what, enough is enough. Now I need to
yes.
get into self. I need to learn self. And that's when I was like, you know what, it's time to really dive into this healing process and really dive
Yes.
to getting to
That's a
know who
power
I am.
move right there. That's a
Yeah.
power move. I've
As scared
today
as
I've
I
been
was.
saying, yes, you do it scared. I always say do it scared because at the end of the day, I believe awareness over everything. Like if you have awareness of yourself, you can get through just about anything. You'll know to trust yourself. When you'll know when to be strong, you know when you need to be vulnerable, you know
Yeah.
when you need to shut up and listen, when you have to speak up. You know,
Yeah.
there's different times for different things. And with my platform, I want to help educate people on the power of knowing your chakras, on what yoga really does for your body, because it helps with your inner knowing of yourself. And with that comes confidence. And confidence is key to so many things. My dad used to tell me that growing up all the time. Confidence is key. Confidence is key. And I used to be like, yeah, I know that. But when I got older and I got into yoga and I got into
Yeah.
really owning my space, that took on a whole new level because it wasn't for anybody else. It was for me. Like being
Mm-hmm.
confident and knowing who I am helped me nourish myself. It helped me to water myself. And then I got to see
Mm-hmm.
the reflection that I never saw before because I wasn't nourishing myself before I came into my awareness. So it's a beautiful
Yeah.
journey if you allow it to be.
And that's what it, and I think that's, yeah, that's the main part. You have to allow it to be. You have to take a step back and release all of the fear that come with it and really just
Yeah.
allow it to
Yeah.
be that beautiful journey like you literally do.
Yes.
So Bobby, you were talking about music, and I remember, I think the first time, I think, where, I'm trying to think, I briefly, I know you were talking about the event. I briefly remember that, like you doing the event where you were singing, but then I remember you were singing with another group of people, Robina, and I'm trying to think who else you were singing with.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
Glory?
Jonelle. Yeah.
Jonelle,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So I remember that, and I'm like, I think when I seen you on stage, I'm like, she sing too.
Yeah, I
You
shocked a
know,
lot
like
of people that day.
so many people try to put you in the box. They be like, oh, she's just the artist, or she just, no. You are dope.
And I
Like
was
you do
going with
so.
them. I was letting them do it too.
You were like,
I'm
yeah, I
glad
do.
that Jonelle brought me out for that. She played a part a lot in
Yes.
helping me embrace music more because there's a lot
Mhm.
of people that are strategically placed to help to shake you, to make you feel like,
Exactly.
you're not who you are. And that can be a big detriment to your creativity, especially if you're like, I'm the type of person that I'm always open to working and I have a playful spirit. Like I always want to play, I always want to interact and things like that. But there's a
Mhm.
lot of energies, especially in competitive environments where the competition is an illusion. It's very weird. It'll make people
Mm.
pretend to be this
Yeah.
and pretend to be that. So I was getting caught up. I was getting caught up in like, okay, who am I
You are.
supposed to be? What am I supposed to sound like? I didn't know. So in that, I just kind of didn't make anything. I let it, paralyze me. And when I did make something, I kept it to
Exactly.
myself. So
Yeah. That,
yeah,
and I've
it
had
was a
that happen.
journey.
And it's amazing. So are you back in the studio now? Is that something that you're kind of, is it taking a little bit of a back seat on some of the other projects that you have going on? What's going on with the music part of it?
I'm actually in the studio. I went to the studio about a month ago. It was a new experience for me because I'm very self-contained. Like I always do things in my house, and I used to record myself all the time. But when you really want to make a quality project, you have to own it. And with owning it, I had to own the quality. Like I was not the quality that I know that I could produce. So I'm currently trying to figure out a schedule to really kick out a real EP. It's pretty much done as far as written and concept and all that. I'm just looking for a home as far as a studio. Like I have one place that felt pretty comfortable, but I have to trust what is and what God leads me to be. So I'm hoping that at least by next summer I have something.
We're gonna be on the lookout for it. We're gonna be on the lookout for it. And when the EP comes back, you're gonna have a space here on Paint Release to come introduce it, introduce it and let people know what's really going on. That's gonna be amazing. And I'm gonna be on the lookout for it.
I'm excited. I'm so excited about it. Because
like new projects,
I said, my sound has transitioned.
Yes. You hear the growth in your voice. You hear that?
Oh yeah. And the topic matter. I'm not crying anymore about I'm ready to have fun and celebrate life. I'm definitely gonna keep it real and talk about the realness, but my perspective is different. I'll say that.
That's good. For me, I know a lot of people don't even know, and I think I surprised my super producer with it one day. I was like, yeah, I sing. And she was like, girl, I'm like, I do. She was like, okay, well, sing something. Every time you tell somebody
right, you had to own it for a second.
They were like, well, sing something here right now. And you'd be like,
right, I hear
I don't
feel like singer.
Hold on. Like, I'm not even warmed up.
Right.
You want me to just bust
put me on the spot.
So I think for me, and something that you said really, really hit home for me when you were talking about embracing your voice and liking your own voice and hearing your own voice. I think that's something that I struggle with. I still
struggle with it. I'm not gonna lie. I still struggle with it.
Just like I'm like,
my comfort zone was neo soul.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, we have to understand that our gift is literally a gift. Like it's for others to receive. You never know how other people are going to take it. It could be a healing, or it may not even be about the delivery. It could be about the words, or it could be about the energy. It's something about it that's to gift other people. So we're digging deep into, we're overthinking pretty much, and what we're saying, overthinking ourselves out of not even doing it at all. Exactly. So that's one thing I'm learning more and more and more. That's why I feel like everything's always connected, but I'm learning more and more in my journey how it is, because when I journal, it ends up being like, oh, I need to put this on my YouTube. And then with YouTube, you have to post original music. And I'm like, I might as well, like, I'm sitting here able, but I'm not doing it. Yeah. I got a whole gift that God gave me and I'm just not using it. So with that, I'm definitely not going to do it. I'm going to put my thoughts, my mind into it. And before you know it, other people are hearing it.
And it's just like, don't put yourself in
a process.
Like, it is. And I'm like, don't put yourself in a box. And of course, I got my super producer on here comment, Autumn can sang too. Like she was just like, girl, if I had your voice, I'll be around.
Yeah, we're gonna have to connect on that. We gotta connect.
You know what? And it's gonna be a process, because you're gonna be like, just sing. I'm gonna be like, no, hold on, like redo it. Like I don't know. And
but you know what? I'm the type of person that I've always been like, come paint with me. They be like, I can't paint. So like it doesn't like I'm so much
Yeah.
of a chill type of person. Like I just want a creative environment around me, and it's like
Yeah.
come create. That's how I feel, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that's why I liked working with Jonelle, because it was much like that. Like we sat down, we talked, we laughed, we made it a situation where we really were just vibing, and whatever
Yeah.
comes out, and
Comes
there's
out.
no judgment. There is no like, we have to know what we're capable of by trying. So sometimes we're gonna try. You
Yeah.
may not like that note. You may not like those lyrics, but at least you tried. And then
Right.
that leads to the revelation of what the final product really is.
See, you just speaking life into me right now. Cause now I'm ready to be like, girl, come on, when we going to the studio?
For
Definitely. That's
real.
definitely
Look, I'm
something.
trying to kick it. I'm trying to create.
Listen, we definitely can connect. I'm definitely, when I tell you, I've been talking about yoga. I just, I've been talking about yoga for forever. I'm like, I
Yes.
want to do yoga. I want to do yoga. And I've just been saying it. And I've never just really kind of went out there and been like, okay, where can I go? Like, and I think that really and truly, like, there's
That's
not
my
very
inner
many,
conviction right there.
yeah, but there's not
I
very
need to
many
be putting
places.
myself out there more.
Exactly. Cause then I would have been like, oh, let me come with you. There's not very
I
many
got to
places
take
that
this
do
moment
yoga
to give
though.
a shout out. Shout out to Sade Garrett. Sade Jarrett is Fola Sade Wellness on Instagram. She's my good friend who actually took yoga in Detroit. There's a whole Detroit community, yogi community out there, and she brought it back here. And
Wow.
it was a situation where I just needed yoga in my life to heal,
Yeah.
and we ended up starting classes together. So she's like
Wow.
head yogi, and she's teaching me to be more comfortable and lead class. Like, she's pushing me to lead my own classes and everything. So, I have to
Definitely.
really give a big shout out to her. So I will be posting our
Shout out to
classes coming
you.
up. We were going hard for a while, so we're about to pick it right back up.
Okay. Definitely. And I will be there trying to do a pose, whatever, downward dog, whatever I need to be learning. I'll be there to do it.
Yes,
So
come through.
it is crazy. Like this time has flown by. Like we come on here for an hour and it's just like,
I know.
that's it. That's it. That's it. Do you have so before
Right.
because we have 5 minutes. So before we do go away, do you have any words of just encouragement, empowerment, enlightenment for just our audience that you would like to just put in the atmosphere for them today?
I do. I felt that something was on my spirit today, so I wrote something down. As I said, I am into numerology, astrology, which is angel numbers for me. Um, if you ever see 812, 812, remember this message. If you even can run this back, write it down. Optimism can move mountains. The power of optimism can move mountains. We all have a duty that once we become aware of what we need, we shift our environments to nourish just that. Put your self care first, because your self care work is your liberation. So if you're ever
Facts.
feeling stuck, you ever feeling that you're vibrating lower than usual, something is happening within yourself, let that be a alarm going off of your awareness. Don't place that responsibility on anybody else but yourself to shift what you need, and don't even sabotage yourself thinking I can't. I
Mm,
won't. This won't work. Optimism can move mountains. Just take one step at a time. One baby step can make a massive change over time. So
that's powerful.
just put that out
She was talking to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
there. I'm pretty sure that was for you.
But thank you so much for joining us. This has been so amazing. The conversation was just so amazing and just so I just like being in those organic spaces where things just flow naturally. I normally come and I'm like, okay, I need some type of questions. And I was just like, you know what? I prayed and was like, however this turns out, Lord, you guide me. We're going to go whatever direction you want us to go, and we're going to leave it at that and just allow you to flow through this. And that's exactly like normally I would have paper with questions. I didn't write nothing down today, y'all. I was just like, we just gonna go with the flow. Whatever that looks like, we gonna let it be organic. And it was just so amazing and so beautiful. I thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who was watching. We appreciate you coming out to just paint and release with us. I am somewhat done. I'm starting her hands.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm going to continue to finish. Vavi is going to continue to finish her piece. And
yeah,
I'm
sure get this done one day.
When she is done with it, she will definitely be, posting and allowing us to just see the goodness that she has painted on her canvas. I thank you all for joining us. We definitely will have Vavi back. So we're going to, whenever this EP releases, we will definitely have her back on with us and just let her just pour out everything that whatever is on the piece that she wants to release and just, allow us to kind of pick her brain and try to listen to it and with her and everything. We'll definitely have her. But I do want to thank you all for joining us for another Saturday. I love you guys. Be great. It is time to release and to heal. Continue to do that, whatever that looks like Vavi said, whether that is journaling, painting, yoga, chakras, whatever it is, angel numbers, whatever it is that you need to find that inner peace. Make sure that you guys are doing that. Make sure that you are taking care of self. It is very important. And that is why we chose the topic of discussion today, which was the art of wellness. I love you guys. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day. Deuces.
Thank you.